All right, we're going to be doing the advertisement project. Love it. This is fun. I love this one. And the reason why, multiple reasons. Sometimes y'all bring stuff to the table that I was not expecting, and I love that. So please have fun and be creative if that's your, MO. But anyway, what I need from you is you will be pulling up 3 commercials of your choice on 3 similar products from 3 different companies and how those commercials are manipulating us by using the vocabulary to show us how. So let me give a little bit more explanation on that. First of all, when you pick your commercials, it needs to be 3 of the same products, but 3 different companies. So say you're going to be doing makeup and you want to do mascara. You're going to use Maybelline and CoverGirl and L'Oreal. I really don't know. I should know more. Anywho, all right, those are the 3 different companies, but each one of those are going to be using mascara. All right, so all 3 are going to be the same product, but you're going to have 3 different companies. Okay. Okay. Say if you're going to be doing like sodas, you're going to be doing like maybe orange soda. You're going to be doing 3 different types of orange soda from 3 different companies. Okay. Same thing with like you do a truck. If you're going to do like a truck ad, you're going to do Ford and Nissan and Chevy. I don't know. You pick the whatevers, but they're all going to be trucks and they're all going to be very similar trucks. Okay. If you're going to do electric vehicles, right? So notice the theme here. The reason why I have you do this is I want you to compare and contrast how they're manipulating. And when you have the same product, you can kind of see how they together might be similar, how they might be different. I don't know, you tell me, because you're going to be using the commercials and you get to teach me about said commercials. That being the case, you're going to be using 10 vocabulary words, but only from chapters 6, 7, and 8. And you're going to see why. When you go to use those words, you're going to go, oh, they all apply. Okay. Also, you're going to need 2 fallacies, and these fallacies need to be fallacies that the commercial uses, not how people use them, but how the commercial uses them. Okay? Okay. So, our goal here is to take the vocabulary words and apply them to the commercial. How is the commercial using spin? How is the commercial using fuzzy words or weasel words? How is the commercial being ambiguous, which means 2 different, wait, how do I say that? Ambiguous is where in which you would have double meaning in a statement. Okay, I'm trying to make that easier. I'm sidetracking over here. The point is use the vocabulary and the commercial to show me how it's manipulating. In other words, use an example from the commercial with the vocabulary words. We've been doing this plenty of times. You know what I'm saying here. Okay, that being the case, I'll get back to how I want it to look. But first, do not forget that you are going to need 5 sources that are cited at the bottom. In these 5 sources, 3 of those are going to be the commercials. MLA format, MLA format. Make sure it's cited in MLA format. I have links. All right, it's easy. I got examples right there for you. Okay, so we have 3 sources. 1 of each is going to be your commercial. 1 is going to be the book. Again, I give you an example on how to cite the book correctly. Use the book in the advertisement assignment. I'll talk about that in a second. And then you're also going to have at least 1 or 2 additional sources that backs up the points that you're trying to make in the assignment. Okay, here we go. So first in this assignment, we're going to start with our title page, right? Introduce it. We're going to have maybe a provocative question or some history or something, kind of like to bring us into the understanding of this particular product, whether it's the mascara, the Jeeps, or the sodas, whatever it is you choose to do. Okay. I'm going to just leave it open there. So that provocative question, and then we're going to get into the actual commercials. You're going to have the commercial and you're also going to summarize that commercial. Not the brand. I don't want you, if you use McDonald's, to have a McDonald's, commercial and then go off on some tangent about how McDonald's does advertisements. That's not what I want. I want you to summarize that particular commercial. That commercial right there. What's happening in it? You tell me. And the reason why I have you do that, because next You're going to use the vocabulary words and your sources and the book to help validate how that commercial is manipulating us, okay? So you can use the book to help understand the definitions of the terms, or how the book might give examples or define the way something is manipulating, whether they use the word spin or ambiguous or whatever the case may be, or how weasel words are used. You can use the book to help validate those points, okay? You can also use sources to help validate other points you might make. Or maybe that source helps give you that information, that background information for the provocative question, right? Just sources that are going to help us out here. Utilize the book. Take the book. I know you don't have the hard copy. I give you a PDF, but you would take it and you would go ahead and find that word, Control F, I believe, in a PDF, and see how you can use those direct quotes from the book to apply it to the slides and how this commercial is manipulating us. Okay? All right. That's the goal. And then you do that with the second one. You know, you have the commercial linked, then you summarize the commercial, and then you show us the different ways in which it's manipulating us. And again, do not forget to use fallacies and how the fallacy is being used by the commercial. How the fallacy is being used in the commercial in no other way. Okay? All right. So there are some examples. Yes, I do recognize examples are not perfect. They're not ideal the way, I guess maybe I could make my own exact thing, but I'd like to use students because I want you all to see what other people are doing, right? If that makes sense. So anyway, please take a look at the examples. Also take a look at the rubric. You need to have the 3 advertisements, your provocative question, or even a little bit of history. Make sure you summarize specifically the ads. Do not make some weird overarching vague, I hate that, I will give you a 0. We're gonna be a big old zeros, okay? Make sure you use all 10 words. Make sure they're bolded. They're always bolded and they're used in a sentence correctly. Make sure you utilize your sources. Cite your sources. So above, therefore below. Therefore below, also above, right? They got to match, okay? And again, a minimum of 5 sources, the 3 ads, the textbook, and your additional source. And then make sure you have an adequate conclusion. Let us know, how did this all come together? What did it look like for you? That was the whole point. You showed us the ads, you summarized them, you gave us a reason of, or gave us explanation of how they're manipulating. How does it conclude? You tell me, okay? That's pretty much it. All right, try to make this as short and sweet as possible with as much information as I could. But if you have questions, please message me. I will be going through and I'm gonna give you the thumbs up or the thumbs down on your topics. And the only reason why I do that is one, to make sure you're doing the right one. So when you get this far, it's not a shit show. Okay, that's all I'm saying. Anyway, questions, please message me through Canvas Messenger and I'll get right back to you.